everyone, and welcome back to Russell's Movie Reviews, and welcome back to the first annual Christmas special. Now, you guys may realize that this is going to be a different format than usual. You guys may realize that I'm on Discord, and not usually on, in front of my webcam and talking to you guys. And that is because this is my very first collab video, with the one and only Dr. Element, also known as, Dylan. So why don't you...
Hello.
Alright, there we go. Uh,
Yep.
um... So, Dylan, why don't you introduce what today's review is going to be about?
Today's review is on the movie Elf.
Yes, Elf. This was Dylan's suggestion. He approached me. Well, I say approached me. Grandly, COVID-19, is a bitch. But yeah, he approached me when we were on a, a video game session, and he said, "Why don't you review Elf?" And I told him I have never seen Elf, and he said, "Well, just review it and just tell me what your thoughts are about them." And I'm like, "Okay." So a week goes by. It's 1 week away from doing the review, which you guys are watching right now. And I ask him, "Hey, do you want to be a part? You want to be in the review?" Dylan said, "Sure." And so this is how this became the first collab video of the channel. So Dylan, why don't you, if you can't, if you want to briefly or just in general, discuss your overall history with this movie.
Sure. Also, if you hear noises in the background, just don't mind that. Alright,
Yeah.
so Elf. I have watched it many times over the years, and I've just grown to love the film. And, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, can you remember, like, or at least try to, the first time you ever watched Elf?
Alright, so what was the question again? I'm so sorry.
Can you try to remember the first time you ever watched Elf?
Ooh. I honestly don't know. I know it was a long time. I'm guessing around first grade-ish. And obviously, I didn't understand many of the references because, there's a lot of hidden jokes in there, but I still
Yeah.
thought it was a great movie at the time.
Okay. My overall history, I've heard of the movie before, but like I said earlier, I never seen it until doing this review. I watched it, and I'm gonna keep my thoughts as hidden as possible until the end of this review for not only the viewers but also for Dylan, because I haven't told him what my thoughts are of the
Yes, that
movie.
is correct.
So this is gonna it might be. We'll see what Dylan's reaction is. But anyway, let's go over some of the details. So this was released on October 9th of 2003. With a budget of $33 million. Domestically, it made about $174 million. And worldwide, it made over $222 million. And this was directed by John Varea. Probably some French name that I probably just butchered. I never really heard of his work, but grandly, from what I've seen so far with his camera work in this film, it makes me kind of want to check out some of his other work as well. So let's get on to the plot. So Buddy, played by Will Ferrell, was accidentally transported to the North Pole as a toddler and raised to adulthood among Santa's elves. Unable to shake that feeling that he doesn't fit in the elf society, the adult Buddy travels to New York, in full elf uniform, in search of his real father. As it happens, a cynical businessman, Walter Hobbs, played by James Caan, does a DNA test that proves that Buddy is correct. Walter reluctantly attempts to start a relationship with the childlike Buddy, with increasingly chaotic results. Um, now, me and Dylan are going to be hopping back and forth between each cast member and seeing um, what are our thoughts about them. So, first off, we obviously have poster boy himself, Will Ferrell, as William Buddy Hobbs. Dylan, what did you think about, or how do you think Buddy was portrayed in this film?
I mean, it's pretty accurate, I'd say. I mean, I think it was a good performance overall.
Yeah, same here. I think that granted there are some cringy parts, but you can. I mean, yeah, they're probably still gonna be cringy if you watch them again, but it's not over. It's not like why is this so cringy? It's like you get it because he's still at heart a child. He's not like a 30-year-old man. Like he may look like that, but at heart he is a child. So some of the action that he does later on in the movie seems is a lot is a like very understandable about why. I mean, granted, it's kind of wrong what he does, but again, he's been raised in the North Pole and doesn't know what actual society is. So I give him credibility for pulling off a performance that if he got wrong, it probably would have screwed up the whole movie. Um, we have Zoe. I'm probably gonna butcher this. Delancia or whatever. Plays Jovi, who is the love interest for Buddy. What did you think about Jovi, Dylan?
You're gonna hear a vacuum in the background, but honestly, it wasn't too bad overall. I think they could have done better, but overall, not bad.
Yeah, I think she did. I think she did fine. I mean, I guess with her character, with like her character and James Caan as well, um, you really see like an arc with their characters. I mean, at the beginning, you see her as kind of a bitch. Let's be honest, with the whole how she reacts to this to Buddy, who just out of hindsight just seems like this annoying person that won't shut up. But over the course of the movie, she really gets to understand what he's like, where he's come from, and to really understand like why he's acting like this. And I think their chemistry overall, I think, was really good. Um, Next up, we have the wonderful James Caan as Walter Hobbs, also as Buddy's father. What did you think about James Caan in this film, Dylan?
I think that character was on point in the film, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you're if you guys are really big, huge, like fans of films, and as Stephen King fan, you guys may recognize James Caan as the main character in the film adaptation of Misery, which is probably one of my favorite adaptations of a Stephen King story. Um, and in this film, I think he really pulls it off. Um, and like just watching how over the course, because I think Misery was released in 1991, so this was released 12 years after that, and you can see from how in Misery you see him as sort of like the main character, but also as the victim of the story. To in this film where he's just a cynical asshole. Um, but then, like I said with Jovi, over the course of the movie, you see his character slowly change to him from being, like I said, a bis- a cynical businessman to a real person with feelings, and realizing that he might have taken, he might have thought like the action that he's done throughout the story might have not been the best. Um, and that's what I really like about him. We have Ed Hansen or Hansner as Santa Claus. So Dylan, what do you think about him?
Overall, it was good, but he didn't really appear that much.
Yeah, and you told me this while I was watching the movie. Who did he also play as?
Sid on Cobra Kai.
Yeah, yeah, he did play Johnny Lawrence's father, I believe.
Stepfather.
Stepfather, that's what it was. So to see him go from this, like, from freaking Santa Claus to, you know, um, to like kind of like a douche in Cobra Kai. Um, you can see like really like same thing like with James Caan. Like how he went from like how he changed from Misery to this film shows that these actors have really good acting range. Um, but yeah, I think like Dylan said, I think he for the scenes that he's given, I think he does a great job. But um, he doesn't really appear that much, which I guess kind of works because this again, it's not centered around him. It's centered around Buddy, trying to find his father. So really having Santa only appear at at the beginning and then at the end, um uh I think it's fine, but with the like I said, with the scenes that he's given, I think he did fine. Oh, we have Daniel Tay as Michael, who is um James Caan's son in New York. Because, I mean, granted, we're going to get into a lot more spoiler territory in the later on in this review. Um, but I think, um, I mean, granted, all my reviews are have spoilers in them. But Michael is the second son to Walter. Buddy is the first one, but Walter never knew about him. But what did you think about Michael?
There were some parts that could have been better, but once again, overall, pretty good
I think
about that
honestly,
character.
um, I think his main contributing role in the plot of this film was really to show the show Buddy that like you need to start acting like a human, because like from the offset, like up till I'll talk about this when I get to my favorite scenes. Um, but he sees that like Buddy is kind of confused about how the world, like this world, is acting like, whereas in the North Pole, everything is different to how ours is. So he's trying to teach Buddy about you know um, certain human things that you know they do that Buddy sees as like kind of like what, and trying to teach him to do this sort of thing or to be more human than he already is. If that makes sense somewhat. We have this caught me off guard, and this was probably one of the funniest scenes in the movie. We have Peter Dinklage as Miles Flinch. What do you think of Miles Flinch, Dylan?
It's pretty funny when he charged Buddy. Watching
Yeah,
this short man just charge like the 6 foot something guy and then absolutely
I
beat him
love
to
the
a
fact
pulp.
that his introduction to into the film is like you see like this like the side shot of like this man walking. Everyone's like, "Whoa!" Like, should we tell Walter about him? And you see the legs, and then because like the first shot is like the elevator doors opening and then closing. You don't see. And my initial reaction was like, "What the hell is this?" And then you see like see the side by shot, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" And then you see the feet, and then here he comes, Peter Dinklage. And it catches you so off guard. And yeah, like what Dylan said, the way that he just charges Buddy, it was hilarious. We have Bob Newhart as Papa Elf. He doesn't really like Santa in this film. He doesn't really pop. He only pops up in like in the beginning and before Buddy leaves the North Pole, and then at the in the ending. So, what do you think about Papa Elf?
I like that character. He gave Buddy a lot of advice. It was overall good character in my opinion.
Yeah, he is the initial one that tells Buddy about his real like identity, because Buddy just thinks that he's an out of like he's not a normal elf. But he's really like the first one that tells him that he isn't an elf. He's a human. That was. I mean, we'll discuss this when we get into probably Dylan's favorite scenes. Um, but yeah, he really explains the fact that he um that like he was accidentally brought to the North Pole, and he was raised there for basically his whole life up till the events of this film. And um and then he pops up in the ending, which I guess we might talk about when we get to favorite scenes. And then finally we have Mary Steenburgen as Emily, who is the wife of Walter, and who is the mother to Michael. What did you think about Mary Steenburgen in this film, Dylan?
Despite the little like appearances in the movie, I thought it was a good character. Like they're good acting and just a good role.
Yeah, and I told you this, Dylan, because I don't. Yeah, you didn't really know about it until I told you about this. If you guys are movie fans, you guys may know about the Back to the Future trilogy, and you guys may remember that Mary Steenburgen played a little character in the third film, who became the love interest for Doc Brown. Dylan actually didn't. I don't think you knew about that until I told you about that when I was watching it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Um, so now we're gonna get on to favorite scenes, and then we're gonna talk about the fun fact that I have, and then we're gonna talk about the music, and then before our overall thoughts about the film. So let's start. Let's start off with Dylan. What are your favorite scenes from Elf?
Probably the snowball fight.
You stole that from me. God damn it.
And also, them trying to get Santa's sleigh to fly.
Yeah. Um. Um. Is that really about it?
Well, those are like my top two.
The top
There's
two,
obviously
but
other
can you
good
like?
scenes. Like Buddy getting hit by the taxi. That was funny.
Yeah. Um. I guess. For favorite scenes, my first favorite scene would probably have to be probably the first initial confrontation maybe between Buddy and Walter, because Walter is like, because you see Buddy putting out his heart and soul into trying to tell this man that like that Buddy is like his son, and you see Walter just go like, this guy is insane. Um, and then I think my second favorite scene is when he's in um really like the first major sequence that's in the mall, where he goes from, like Dylan said, he sees like the mall, he starts walking towards it, and all of a sudden you see this taxi just show up and just bam. um I wonder if he actually did that stunt. He probably did, honestly.
I doubt it. He probably had a stunt double.
um but yeah, he walks into the shop, and he's like looking around. He he spaced the this is the part. This is one of the moments I laughed out loud. Is when it's like the initial montage in the mall, and he goes up to this shop attendant, or the shop clerk, and she gives him this this bottle of perfume, and he thinks it's like candy. So he wait, Dylan, do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
He he's raising in his mouth because he thinks it's candy, and then he realizes like, oh god, wait, he doesn't know it's perfume, but he's like, oh god, this is terrible. Ugh, ugh. And then the one manager comes up to him and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "What?" I think because again, buddy doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's like, and the guy's like, "Get over here! You're supposed to be at the North Pole." And he's like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "Oh no, that's anyway." But he brings him over to like where the workers are working at for like the toys and stuff. And he's like, "This is the North Pole." And buddy's like, "No, he's not. No, it's not." And he goes, "Yes, it is." "No, it's not." "Where's all the snow at?" And the guy just like turns around and he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Um, and then when the guy makes an announcement that like, "Oh, Santa's coming," Buddy just freaks out. He's like, "Santa's coming!" And the guy just like turns around and he's like, "This guy's a goddamn crack addict." um, and um, um, I think and
Lost
then
for
like,
words.
wait, what the one?
I said you're lost for words. You're like,
Yeah, he's like, what is this guy doing? And then I don't think he's like explained in the movie, but somehow he's able to stay in after hours. Like, do you like exactly know like how he was able to do that? Because I am still trying to figure out
he
what the hell he
just
did.
snuck around all the guards, like the security guards.
I guess. And then he made the store all nice. And then Joey comes up and she's like someone put all the stuff up, and he's like, "Yeah, it's me." He's like, "Wait, you did this?" And she's like, "Wow, it looks all very nice." And then the guy comes up and he's like, "We had someone vandalize the whole store. Call me on my walkie-talkie." Like this is a Amber Alert. And then I don't think he ever gets told that Buddy like put up the decorations.
So here's what happened. Basically, he thought that corporate sent in someone to like decorate the store, and he thinks that someone's going after his job.
Oh yeah. So he's like, call me on my walkie-talkie, and then Buddy turns around and he sees quote unquote Santa, but it's like the mall Santa, and like the guy turns around and he goes like, just straight up, he just goes, "Who the hell are you?" Like in front of like all these like 4-year-olds, and then he he has like a back and forth conversation with this mall Santa, and he wait, don't. What was that one line that he said? Like he sniffs him. What's the line that he says?
Says like, you smell like cheese and beef.
Oh yeah. And then like the guy just turns around and he just rips off the beard and all the kids are like, ah! He's like, "It's not really Santa," and the guy just fucking tackles him, and they start having like, I mean, Buddy does not know how to fight, but the guy's just like beating the crap out of him. He just, what does he grab, like a candy cane? Oh no,
And
he
he's got
grabs
like
like one of
some
the
like metal pipe from I
yeah,
forget
and he
where it's
starts
from.
like smashing like the Lego stuff, and the worker just like tackles him, and he's like,
Yeah, the
but
manager
he's
does
still,
not want him
still
to ruin
standing
the
in
store.
like he's like in shock, but he's still like, "He's not Santa." um, and then James Caan breaks him out. And then I think my third favorite scene is like Dylan said, the snowball fight, where like he's following Michael, and he just goes, "Will you go away from like? Can you stop following me?" And immediately this kid just pops out, and then ow! What the? Like I forgot what he says. It's not like a
He said,
curse
"Son
word.
of a nutcracker."
Son of a nutcracker. And then he's like, and like he gets in. He's like, "Shoot, run for it!" And you see all these kids just pop out and like, I'm like, and then they hide behind a rock, and I'm like, this seems good and all, but how the hell did all these kids like get shit tons of snowballs?
Guess I just had him prepared.
I mean, I guess, but like some of these kids were on bridges. Like what? And then like the kid Michael, like you see him like, okay, we're gonna fight back, try and get snowballs, and you see the camera like goes over to Michael and he grabs like he gets like one snowball, and it pans out to see like Buddy, and he just has like a stack of them. He's like, "Ready?" And he's like, "Sure." And he's like, "Go!" And he just gets up, and you see him just like, and like, tell me if I'm wrong or anything, but I think Buddy can compete for like he could be like a good like pass like he could be good for football. Cause
Yeah,
like,
or
I mean,
baseball.
besides like the rapid fire like throws, dude, Buddy just squares a kid in the face with a snowball, and then he just chucks a snowball with a kid that's like what, a mile away, I think.
It's not a
Like he's like
mile.
running.
It's decent bit away from him, like a
Yeah,
decent distance away.
he just yeets it and just hear, ow. I'm like,
Very
dude,
great baseball pitcher.
yeah, a very good baseball pitcher, and also probably very good with a football as well. Um, my fourth favorite scene would probably have to be probably when I think honestly would probably just be like when when like the sleigh scene that you were talking about earlier. The fact that like
Yeah.
like Santa's like go, but he's like, wait, I haven't finished the engine yet, and he's just like go, and you just see Buddy just like laying there like what the hell, and, like this whole sequence where like he's trying to fix it, and then like they're trying to fly away, and you see like Jovi like stand on top of this like sleigh, and like gets like all the people to sing, and then like when James Caan like finally starts to sing, the sleigh just goes right above their heads.
Yeah, that
And
was a
it's
cool
like,
scene.
holy shit, Santa's real. um, and I don't know how the hell. I mean, again, really, like I said earlier, all my reviews are spoilers. Have spoilers in them. So spoilers here if you haven't seen Elf. Um, but how the hell did he go from like in the sleigh going to the North Pole to somehow land back in New York for the end? Like
Santa brought him back.
it doesn't even show that. It's just like, oh yeah, he's back. Like what? What? Like hold up, movie. Like don't try and do this tomfoolery like BS on me. Like how the hell did he get back? I guess it doesn't really explain. And obviously the ending also has both Buddy and Juvie in the North Pole, and they have a child,
Juvie. Hang on, what?
or Jovi. I don't know how to say that name. Okay, yeah, I
Jovi.
guess Jovi.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're both at the North Pole, and they have a child. Um, and um, I, it's like one of those movies where it's like I kind of wish there was a sequel, but also at the same time, I'm glad there wasn't.
It ended well. It had a satisfying ending.
I mean, it kind of was hinting at a sequel, like with obviously with the baby and stuff like that, where it's like, could that possibly be like a new Elf or something like that? But did you know that there was an animated version of this film? Dylan?
Sorry, what was? Oh, I did not know that.
It was released around in 2014, and I think it ran for, I think the running length was about like 25 minutes, and it basically got like all the key moments from Elf and did them in like stop motion animation, like the whole movie. I think the title was like a very Elf Christmas. Um,
I
I
never knew
personally
that
haven't seen
existed.
it. Um,
I haven't either.
but from what I've seen, I would just rather just watch the original. But I guess if I'm like on a time crunch and I'm like, oh, I really want to watch some form of Elf, I guess I could put that one on. Um, um, Now we're gonna get on to the fun fact. So Dylan, did you know that Jim Carrey was supposed to play, was supposed to be the original one playing the main role of Buddy?
I would not like that.
But he turned down the role, and we got Will Ferrell.
Like, Buddy
Now,
turned down the role. I'm kidding. I know what you mean.
um, but what are you messaging in chat, Dylan?
Oh, I was just asking about the recording and whatnot. But yeah, just continue.
Oh, but yeah, yeah, Jim Carrey was supposed to play the original role. of Buddy. But this was around the point of his career where he was on a downward spiral until he brought it back with Sonic the Hedgehog. Um, but well, this was at like the start of it, so he was kind of trying to find work, like any kind of work. So, I mean,
Wait, do you know why he turned it down?
no. But I think overall, I think it's better that we had Will Ferrell instead of Jim Carrey, because I feel like if it was
Ferrell. Hang on, I'm on like I'm on like
Will, Will Ferrell,
that's Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, whatever.
I
Um,
mean, it doesn't matter.
I feel like if Jim Carrey played Buddy, he would have just been like the Riddler from Batman Forever. It would have just been like the character, but it's just Jim Carrey. Like it's
Will
literally just
Ferrell
like
is the best for the role. There's no one
yeah,
that can do better.
yeah. But like that's what I was saying, kind of like with the whole Jim Carrey thing. It's like with Batman Forever and him playing the Riddler. It's like it's Jim Carrey playing Jim Carrey, and that's what I'm afraid. Like if he did accept the role of Buddy, how this movie would have ended up. Um, but um, uh, I mean, I guess it's better that we got Will Ferrell. Um, and you want to quickly talk about the music, Dylan?
I like the soundtrack of the film, honestly.
And I know you personally haven't seen this, but for me, me especially, it sounded the theme sounded like a lot. Sounded really similar to another movie that came out a year after this movie. Called The Polar Express. Um, and I honestly thought that like maybe this film had the same composer as The Polar Express, but no, this one had John Debney, whereas The Polar Express had Alan Silvestri. But overall, I think that Debney did a very good job with trying to compose music for this film. Um, there wasn't really any moment where I felt like the music was bad at any point. I think overall, the music was very good. Um, so yeah, Don, you wanna add anything before we get on to the final thoughts on for Elf?
No, I like the soundtrack. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
All right. Well, uh, what is your final thoughts on Elf? And what I do for the channel is that at the end of every single review, I give the film a score out of 10. Uh, so discuss what your final thoughts are on Elf, and then give it a rating out of 10.
Honestly, this film, Christmas classic, 10 out of 10.
Okay. Um, for me, this isn't a instant to go Christmas movie. But if my family said, "Hey, do you have Elf? Do you want to watch it?" I would gladly say yes. I think this film is it's a very good Christmas movie and a very good comedy as well. But also has some dramatic points about it as well, which I do like. But overall, I think that this was a very pleasant ride, and I'm glad that I did watch it finally. So I'm gonna give this film a 7 out of 10. Uh, it was a very good experience and a very fun ride. Uh, watching this film, and I'm very glad to have this a part of my collection. So yeah, thank you, Dylan, for being a part of this episode. Stay
Thank
tuned
you.
for the next episode, which will be on the Polar Express. You can click on my face over here, or well, you can't see my hands because obviously I don't have my camera on, but you can click my face, which will take you to the channel, and will show you all the previous content that I've made for the channel. And make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon for future notifications on when new videos are coming out. And on the other side of that, we have the two most recent videos, which will I believe will be both my Scrooge review and the Jingle All the Way review. So stay tuned for later on today, where I will be discussing the Polar Express. And again, thank you, Dylan, for joining me on this episode. His
Sure.
channel will be down in the description below.
Yep.
And see you guys later for the Polar Express review. And so long for now. Live long and prosper. Out.